Man, I really wish we did that Evangelion vs. Godzilla movie. I mean, just imagine all the possibilities. You could have had us Evangelions versus the king of the kaiju himself. What? You said you wanted to, do a crossover with Godzilla and, that's me. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm an actual Godzilla, like, actual Godzilla. But I was an actual God. If anyone asks, he was coming right for us. Hey, just welcome to Super Important Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going over the Solo Chogokin GX-15 Evangelion Unit 02 production model. This is a Bandai action figure from the hit anime Neon Genesis Evangelion, which this is the mech that Asuka pilots, which for this video is the final video I'm going to be doing for the Solo Chogokin line, at least for the Evangelions anyway for a while, because I really don't have any other Solo Chogokins to go over. And also want to kind of move on to some other figures like maybe the SH Monstars Gigan that I might have recently gotten, but just want to briefly sum up. Really love Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's the main reason I picked up these figures. Really like Unit 2. Personally love Asuka. She's one of my more favorite characters from the anime. And for this review, I'm going to glance over a lot of the stuff in this figure that we've seen in the other two reviews, like the Bazooka, the Pellet Rifle. I'll still show them in this review, but I'm mainly just going to be like, hey, here you go, and moving on to the next more exciting parts that are actually new for this figure. So if you guys haven't checked out those other two reviews, there'll be links at the end of the video where you can go check it out, or in the description below. So without further ado, for the packaging, I actually really like this overall, even though it's the exact same as we got with Unit 1 and Unit 0, where it's in the same color scheme as the Evangelion is with the red packaging. You get to see the nice image of the figure on the front of the packaging. Really like this image too on the side here. So the Chogokin, Bandai, Evangelion 0 production model. Top of the packaging, just get to see the unit holding the Positron Rifle. Okay, holding the Positron Rifle with some Solo Chogokins, Evangelion. Side of the packaging, get the Nerve logo, more of the same we've seen. Other side of the packaging, literally the exact same stuff. Back of the packaging, just get to see all the accessories inside of the packaging, what they can do. The figure has some dynamic poses, some stuff I can't understand, some legal mumbo jumbo, and more of the same from the top. So let's get this thing opened up out of its cardboard prison. That's another Unit 2 open up out of his cardboard or her cardboard prison. It's cardboard prison. First, we're going to go over the accessories that we've seen on the other figures, starting with the shoulder pads, which are the exact same as what we got with Unit 1 and 0, which open up to reveal the slot you can put the progressive knife into. Other side opens up to reveal the needle launcher, which is really cool. These can remove off and are also held on by magnets, which you also get a set of standard shoulder pads to go along with it, which overall, again, look really cool. Personally, I like the ones with the gimmicks a little bit better just because I really actually love me some gimmicks. But if you just want a more clean, standard look for the mech on your shelf, these are really great that these are included. And again, how you get them off? You just bend it outwards, lift up a little, pops right off. Really simple stuff to do. Then you just grab the original one, pop it right back in there. Again, held up by magnets, which is really cool, so it gives a little bit more articulation. And overall, really love these things. And because it goes with the shoulder pads, so I can show you guys how to insert, it actually comes with its own special progressive knife, which would, in the anime, it's more of a switchblade, which what happens is the blade can extend, and then if the blade gets broken off, like say it stabs into an angel, and then the part gets stuck, it can break the section of the blade off and then retract more of the blade out, which I always thought was really cool, and it actually seemed kind of useful in the fight, so I always thought that was really awesome. There's a lot of very good details with the red handle, some metallic gunmetal for the handle, and overall, pretty awesome. Even the metallic silver for the blade, which, how you get this on here, and I just pop the shoulder off, right back on. How you get it into the shoulder pad, you just lift up on here. You notice there's a little slotted section inside of it. You just insert the blade into there, then you just move the blade upwards. You're going to want to get it about there, where it's kind of resting in this little flat section right here. And then you just bring this down and close it. And now you have your progressive knife stored in your EVA. And for some of the other same accessories, we get the Pellet Rifle, which still looks awesome. And then it comes with the briefcase, which you can actually store the Pellet Rifle on the inside of it, which is really cool. You only get one Pellet Rifle, so it's just showing you guys that it can rest on the inside of it. And just like the other two EVAs, on the larger shoulder pads with the gimmicks, you can hook the briefcase onto the back in the little nub sections, so that the EVA looks a little bit more combat ready. Overall, really love this little gimmick. Also comes with 3 entry plugs in case you lose one of them, which actually we gotta get one of these out of here real quick. And just like the other two EVAs, you can take the entry plug, you can pop the little plate here on the back section of its neck. You just lift up on there, you take the red side of the entry plug, stick it into the little hole right here in the back of the neck, push it in. you'll feel it click into there. Then you can enclose the top section over top. And then if you want to remove it, you just push this little button on the back here, and then make sure to keep your finger somewhere close to it so it's not jettisoning off, because if you don't, it'll go launching across the room. So just push the button, pops it out, and you just pull it out of the back there. Good to go. And I just always thought it was really neat that you could store the little entry plug in the back here to make it very anime accurate. Then we have the entry plug, which is made out of plastic. You got a little rubber tube. Stick the rubber tube on the end of the little peg right here. It's a tight fit, so just be a little bit careful to not snap the peg on the back here. And also be careful when attaching into the back, because again, this part's made out of die cast, this part's made out of plastic, so there is some worry of breaking the little peg right here. So when inserting into the peg hole on the back here, just make sure to be a little bit slow. Don't put it in all the way, so you can make use of the articulated joint here, and then you don't have to worry about the peg snapping off when you want to remove it. Well, overall, it looks really cool. Very, again, anime accurate, and really love this accessory, because it seemed kind of goofy for this thing not to come with it. Then we also have the giant bazooka, like we got to see with Unit 1. Really cool to see it making a comeback on this figure. Comes with a pair of grasping hands, which have the exact same detail as what we see with Unit 0 and Unit 1. More or less, the main difference of this is just normal gray plastic with some yellow paint job here for the knuckle guards, and a little bit of red paint there for whatever that is supposed to be. Then also comes with a pair of grasping hands for your weapons, spears, and whatnot, which are the exact same as what we saw with Unit 1 and Unit 2. Nothing different other than just the paint job. And to swap out the hands real quick, you just grab at the base of the wrist, top of the forearm, you just pull outwards, pops it right out of the ball joint, grab whichever hand you want to swap it out with, because we only get one, so you only have one choice. Alright, moving on. For the hand here, you just insert it straight into the forearm so that you don't have to worry about the plastic breaking. Pretty easy to do, pretty easy to swap out, especially on this hand for some reason, because it doesn't really stay in there all that well. And I always seem to forget about this till later on, but it also comes with an instruction booklet, just like what we saw with Unit 0, not quite the same as Unit 1, where you have the images of the figure on the front here. You open it up on the inside, tells you exactly what the figure can do and all the stuff that it came with. Shows you more of the same that we saw with the previously on the back of the packaging. And what else comes in the toy line. Now for some of the new accessories, we get the Smash Hawk, which is essentially just a giant axe. Nothing too complicated here. But it has this kind of same spear tips that we saw on the Sonic Glaive on Unit 0. And it has the same metallic plastic we saw with all the other accessories. A little bit of metallic silver here for the blade. It has actually a pretty nice edge to it. Overall, really cool looking accessory. And then the most noteworthy accessory for this is the Positron Rifle, which you got to see towards the later half of the anime, which you see Unit 2 trying to snipe one of the angels in space, and then music happens for reasons. But anyways, this is a pretty sweet looking weapon overall, and I'm actually really glad to have it with this figure, because it's kind of, again, it's Unit 2's weapon. And also, the version that I had for the Kyoto one was really crappy, and this is actually a little bit better detailed, where you get a lot of nice metallic white here for a lot of the metal work, some metallic blue here for some of the pin linings. You get the Positron 20 rifle right there, and also at the base of the gun. Really nice detail work here on the handles. Overall, pretty sweet weapon. And then how you get this onto the EVA, which is something I'll show you guys because it's a little bit more complicated, is this section's actually articulated, so you're going to want to bend this part up. I also recommend popping off the hand here too, because it's a little easier to attach it to the weapon. Then you're going to want to take the hand, which the hand's actually pretty elastic, so it actually has a lot of bend to it. You're going to want to just insert the hand right here, and you just kind of bend the fingers around the handle here. And you just kind of adjust it accordingly, get it to look how you want it. Then we're going to reattach the hand onto the forearm here. And then you just kind of adjust the arm till you get this little plastic section right here into the magnet slot on the top portion of the shoulder. So I just adjust the arm accordingly till it encloses. Try not to pop the hand out like mine is doing right now. And there we go. Now we have the Positron Rifle on our Unit 2. Looks pretty cool. And also, one thing I forgot to point out, it does come with an extra handle. Hooks right here into the peg hole. You just pop that right in so that you can have Unit 2 double fisting the Positron Rifle, which is pretty freaking sweet. And then for the final accessory, we have the stand. Not much more to say about this than I haven't said in the previous videos, other than I really don't like it. It's cool that the EVA can kind of sit inside of it, but it doesn't really work as a stand very well. These little peg sections here don't really hold the weapons in that well. Down here it's not so bad, but for the most part, just doesn't really work that well for me.
You do get this extra little plate on the front here, which does come removed, so you will have to actually attach this onto there. Which actually I never pointed out. How you remove it is around the under section here. You just push in on the little pegs right there to get the plate to actually pop out. But one thing I did actually fail to mention is I actually just more recently learned about this, is the briefcase can actually hook into these little sections right here. So if you want to have the briefcase stored and not in the packaging, you can actually have it on the stand, which is pretty cool actually. Still doesn't help that the stand sucks, but it's still awesome that they thought to include that. Anyways, moving on. And then for the detail on Unit 2, it's literally the exact same as what we had with Unit 1. Not really a whole lot different in terms of body sculpt, arms, legs, literally the exact same amount of details on it. We'll go over it just briefly just to show you guys a little bit closer details, but for the most part, exact same other than the overall color scheme of Unit 2, which is a very nice metallic blood red color scheme with more, it's a slight shade of orange, but it's a little bit more on the yellowish side for the arms, the little accents on the shoulder pads, and also on the knee pads as well. With some black plaster here for the intersectionings of the armor plating here, looks really nice overall. The primary difference in the detail is in the head sculpt, which does look really nice. A little bit the red is kind of bleeding in on the white back here, so it appears to give it a little bit of a pinkish hue. But overall, nothing too bad. Detail work on the eyes, it has this very nice emerald green, a little bit of that same kind of yellowish orange there for a little bit of the intersectionings of the eye. Looks awesome. What's also really cool too is for its critical state, what you do is you take the jaw here, you lower that down. It kind of helps to raise the head a little bit. But that part just lowers down a little bit, and then you lift up the top plate here, you'll feel it kind of pop into place. And that reveals the eyes for the inside of the helmet, which is really cool. It kind of gives it its berserk mode appearance, just like what we saw of Unit 1. Overall, really cool that it comes with the figure, and it hides pretty nicely on the helmet too when you have it enclosed. I'll just show you guys a little bit of the bodywork details, where it's the same kind of armor plating that you would saw in Unit 0, just with a little bit of a different color scheme. Another difference that we see on the Unit 2 is on the details on the shoulder pad, where you have the EVA 2. On the forearms, you get EVA 02 product. On the inside of the arms, absolutely nothing though, but it's the exact same on the opposite side of the forearms and the shoulder area. And then that's pretty much it. Legs look overall the same. Really like the muscular lining that they have for the armor plating. Looks great. Love the boots. On the back section here, you get some metallic silver here for the spine section. With some more detail work on the upper back portion. And I'll just show you guys the top-down perspective of the unit real quick. Overall, the figure has an astounding amount of detail. And then for the die-cast figure, it's in the arms here. The hands on the shoulder pads are plastic. The legs, parts of the feet, and also the intersection of the back here. So the figure has a lot of die-cast, very heavy, which does kind of hinder it standing. Because for the joints here, with it being very heavy on the top section, it tends to not want to stand up. Actually, I'll just show you guys. For this guy, it's not so bad compared to Unit 0 and Unit 1, who seem to have had a little bit more play because I've gotten these guys used. But Unit 2 does seem to stand up a little bit better. But when you want to start doing like dynamic poses, spreading the legs out a little bit, that's where stuff starts wanting to tip and adjust because of how heavy everything is. So when positioning it, recommend either getting like a Tamashi stand or something, or just take your time with it and just make sure when you let it go, that's going to be standing perfectly for you. Then for the articulation, the head could look a little bit down, a little bit up, but you do have to adjust it a little bit because it does catch the back plating here. So it moves up about that far, down about that far. Can look to the left, to the right. The neck gives you a little bit of a pivot, so that nice ounce motions we've been talking about. But the shoulders can move a little bit forward, a little bit back, a little bit up and down, not too crazy motion. Also have the ball joint inside of the shoulder, so you get a lot of play with that. Can rotate all the way around. Elbow is on a double joint, so about that far of an inward bend, that far of an outward bend. Also has a rotation at the elbow, rotation at the hand, and a decent amount of play at the hand as well. Then for the chest and the waist, at the lower portion of the chest and the upper portion of the waist are your ball joints, so that's where you're going to get all your rotation. Can bend forward about that far, straighten up about that far. For his legs, move outwards about that far, inwards about that far, forward kick about yay far, and it just keeps popping off on this guy. Backwards about that far, Also has a little bit of a rotation at the upper part of the thigh. No rotation at the knee, but on a double joint, so pretty good bend. And then at the feet can wiggle side to side, move forward about that far, backwards about that far, and some articulation at the toes.
And for some quick comparison, here we have the Soul Chogokin Unit 2 compared next to its other Soul Chogokin brethren with Unit 0 and Unit 1. And here we have the Soul Chogokin Unit 2 compared next to some SH Monsters figures with the Heisei Mogira and Mechagodzilla. And here's Unit 2 with some other anime action figures with the Figma Asuka from You Will Not Advance and the SH Figure Arts Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon. And here we have the Soul Chogokin Unit 2 compared next to my Kyoto Unit 2, which I have to say, Soul Chogokin Unit 2, definitely the more articulated and better quality figure. Don't get me wrong, this figure still, like, in comparison, you can definitely feel the cost in this guy. But I still actually have a soft spot for this version, because I still think it looks really cool. Because for the Coyote Unit 2, I really love the head sculpt on this one, actually. Compared to all the other units, other than, I'd say, Unit 3, this head sculpt on this one is phenomenal, except for, again, white on these figures is bleeding in with the red, so it's kind of turned into a pinkish hue. And the body scheme is kind of a mix between Unit 1 with the lower section here and Unit 0 with the body type. And then it's just kind of like a mishmash of parts. So Unit 2 still kind of has that more hunched over appearance that Unit 1 had, but not quite as bad overall. Detail still looks awesome on this. And for, again, this figure running about $30. So again, I think the Soul Chogokin is definitely the better quality figure, and I still really love the gimmicks. But for 30 bucks, can't really complain about this guy. So for the Soul Chogokin Unit 2, I like this figure at the $50 price tag that I got it for. I think the articulation on it's pretty good. It has really great details. And overall, works pretty well in comparison with my Kyoto one. But when we start talking about the figure being the $100 price tag that you generally see it going for on eBay, and that's usually for a used version, that's when I would say it's more personal preference on your behalf. If you're looking for a figure that's primarily die-cast and feels expensive, then the Soul Chogokin will definitely work for you. But if you want something that's easily articulated and something you're going to be messing around with a little bit more, like say for pictures or you just like messing around with your figures, then I would maybe look towards the Robot Damashi line if you're going to be spending that price tag anyways. But if you guys can pick it up for pretty reasonably cheap, then I definitely recommend picking up Asuka's favorite mech. But what do you guys think? Do you guys own the Soul Chogokin Unit 2? What's your favorite mech animators? Robotech, just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. A little closer picture of this thing on Facebook. You want to click the link in the description below. Help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.